A few months ago I bought a group of 20 Pygmy Corys for the big shallow. These little guys have been on my wish list for a very long time, so I was super happy when I found them. The first few days after I released them, they were constantly out and about and shoaling together with the gold ring danios. Unfortunately that didn't last very long, and these days I only see them when I'm feeding them or when I stay very still for some time. I'm not sure why they became so skittish, but let's see if we can change that. So I really want to figure out a way to make these Corys feel more comfortable in this tank, but without doing anything drastic. I mean, I'm sure if I would reduce the light intensity, add a ton of floating plants, add some tannins to the water and turn this into a black water tank, I'm sure then the Corys will come out more, but yeah, then the plants will be suffering and that's not really a great solution. So we need to figure out something else. So I've been thinking of adding more Corys. I think that will also help because Corys really love to swim in a large group. I think in the wild they swim in groups of 100 or 200. Now I cannot add this many into this shallow tank, but we can add a few more. Now I've checked my local shops. They don't really have any Pygmy Corys in stock currently, but I do have something else. So over here on this side of the room I have my 70 liter Scapers tank, and believe it or not, in here we also have a group of Pygmy Corys. Same situation. Very scared, will only come out when there's a little bit of food and there's nobody sitting in front of the tank making any movements. So this tank is actually due to be rescaped very soon. It's now 1 year old. Yeah, it's fun. It was a fun ride, but it's time for something new. So today I'm going to take this tank down, remove the Corys from here and add them to the big shallow tank. Now there is one small issue because the Corys in here are a different type from the ones in the big shallow. Over here we have Corydoras astates, so these are tail spot Corys, and over there we have the Corydoras pygmaeus. So those are two different types, and I've been doing a little research and I think there is a chance that these two species could crossbreed together. Is that a real problem? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a shop, I'm not selling these Corys, so I think if in any case they do happen and they do crossbreed together, yeah, we'll just have to see from there what we do with those babies. Oh, here we go, there's a few of them. So as you can see, they're very skittish and I have to stay very quiet here in front of the tank. Don't make any movements and then they'll start to come out. But yeah, that's just not really enjoyable. So I'm very curious to see what happens if once we add these to the big shallow, see if they will be a bit more comfortable together with the other Pygmy Corys. So yeah, time to say goodbye to this escape now. A little bit sad, but also excited for making something new again. I think before we start taking it down, let's do a little video montage, a little compilation of this tank and the past 1 year. Okay, one more thing before we start taking this tank down. So about a month ago I actually removed the CO2 system from this aquarium. So this used to be a high-tech tank with high light, high CO2 and lots of fertilizers. But a month ago I decided that I wanted to rescape this tank and I wanted to slow down the plant growth. So I decided to remove the CO2 system, reduce the light intensity and just stop with liquid fertilizers. So I think in a way it worked. We definitely managed to slow down the plant growth. Because we reduced the light intensity, we also managed not to get any algae issues. But overall, the overall plant health just did not really improve from the lack of CO2. So the moss looks a lot worse than before. And the stem plants, I mean the top part of the stem plants looked okay, but everything below that is just very laggy and the leaves have kind of dropped. So is this something I would recommend? Not really. I mean the Bucephalantha, the slow growing plants, they're still doing okay, but yeah, everything else is just not really healthy anymore. So the best way to rip off a bandit is to do it as quickly as possible, right? So that's an entire scape destroyed in less than a minute. Surprised that this whole right piece still stayed intact, the left piece kind of fell apart. So I'll probably just pick off all these Bucephalandras. I want to save them, of course, so maybe I'll sell them. And the rocks with the moss, I'll just place them outside, and there's nothing we can do about that anymore. The moss is not really healthy, so there's no point in selling that or giving that away to people. So. I'm sure most of you already know this, but if you ever have to catch a load of shrimp or fish, just drain the water level as much as possible, so everybody is forced to come to the front, and then you can easily scoop them out. Before I started draining the tank, I already prepared some clean water, so this is still tank water, but before I started messing everything up, so it's not as dirty as this water right here. So we can start catching now. So that went really smooth. Everyone is currently temperature acclimating. I tried counting the Corys and I think we still have about 17, so that's nice. And over here we have a few Amano shrimp and one Otocinclus, so they can also go in the shallow. I'll let them chill out here for a little bit and then we come back and release them. Man, cleaning an aquarium is hard work. The Corys are still adjusting. I'm kind of taking my time with it because they're coming from an aquarium without CO2 injection. And the big shallow has a lot of CO2 in there. So I want to take my time so they can get properly adjusted to those CO2 levels. Because I always find whenever I buy fish in the shop, where they also don't use CO2 in those selling tanks, of course. And then when you add them to your aquarium without really taking the time to let them adjust, like they don't really like that, you know, like the first few minutes when you release them into the aquarium, they'll kind of be like gasping for air. So I want to make sure we take our time with these Corys. So let's just add a little bit more water. And then we'll wait a few minutes and then we can release them. The 70-liter escapers tank is sort of clean, sort of not. It's almost time for dinner, so I'll probably just clean this some other day. And this is not a how to clean your aquarium video, so I'll save you guys the trouble as well. In case you guys were wondering what I did with the shrimp, they're currently in this bucket together with the Bucephalandra. The shrimp are literally just a mix of all types of colors. So I'll have to sort them out in some way and see which ones I want to keep. And the rest I'll probably sell to some local hobbyists or something. So as soon as I released the Corys, they seemed very comfortable. They were just chilling in that area for a while, and occasionally they would swim to the other side of the tank. Now these tailspot Corys are much more active swimmers compared to the Pygmies. The Pygmy Corys will stay closer to the substrate, so it will be interesting to see if the two groups will kind of blend in with each other, or if they're all going to stay separate. Instantly the tank feels a lot more alive. There's so much going on right now. I love it. So it will probably be a few days before we can say whether or not adding these extra cores will have some effect on the behavior of the rest. So I'll keep you guys updated. Don't forget to smash that like button, and I'll see you next time.